Hey girl, today is Friday, August 22nd, 2025. First, I want to say a disclaimer that I am going to try to get through this video without crying. And if I don't, that's okay. It is the 5th-year anniversary of the passing of my dad's mom, Ruth Louise Miller. So I wanted to make this video to really honor her as well as share what grief does and how you move through it and how it is difficult and how it is hard to do. I remember 5 years ago, I was a completely different person. I was a completely different person mentally, emotionally, physically. I had no idea that the death of my grandmother would rock me in such a way. But I also had no idea how the death of my grandmother would literally change my life. I grew up in a very large family where everything was about family. Blood is thicker than water, loyalty over anything else. While that is very true and it is a very real thing, sometimes it can be to our detriment of how we grow, how we live, and how we move through life. In her passing, I literally did not know that her not being present on this earth would rock me in such a way. Here's the reality is that prior to her passing, she suffered with dementia. And if you know what Alzheimer's dementia is, you know that that is literally the grieving process of someone while they are still living, yet your loved one is locked between various memories within themselves. And there is nothing that you can do as a person, no matter how much you love them, no matter how much you care about them, that you can pull them out of that space. It is the most heart wrenching feeling that you can ever experience. You learn to love them where they are, appreciate the memories of who they were. What I realized in these past 5 years is death changes you, changes those that are still on this side. And it can often alter the way that you see things. And one thing that I always want to stay is transparent and real and authentic because that is who I am. When my grandmother passed, I was shocked, hurt, just so many emotions, heartbroken. My mind immediately went back to how close we were, the times I would be at her house all the time, the times that I would just pop up and she would tell me, "Did nobody ask you to come here? Go back home." I also thought about the times that she would pray for me. I thought about, her clap, smell, her presence. All of these things were flooding my mind. Her death shifted something so deeply in me. The first year, I couldn't recognize myself. When I think about it, I don't recognize who I was and the way that I grieved. All of the reasons that I was connected to family and staying connected to family was my grandmother. Her death felt like an undoing of that. Her death made me angry. My grandmother was the most amazing woman ever. She wasn't great at conflict. Just like we're not always great at certain things. She wasn't great at conflict resolution. She wasn't great at oftentimes putting her foot down. And so that traveled through families and that traveled through how we saw each other. Everybody wanted to be her favorite. You would believe that there were some that were her favorites and you lived your life in that way. Her death put me back on the path of getting a therapist and making sure that I was whole within. See, there go those tears. Her death caused me to reflect on so much. It caused me to reflect on who I was as a person and how I was showing up, not for everyone else, but for me. My journey through therapy helped me to see that I really did have a bond with my girl, that I really do still miss her, even now, 5 years later. But also, I remember when my grandfather passed, my grandmother went and started traveling. She just started traveling like crazy. She was always gone. She was always go, go, go. And I was like, she's not grieving. She should be here with us grieving. And what I realized is that she decided in that moment to live for herself. And while my grandmother was my foundation, she was the glue. She was the reason I didn't do a whole lot of stuff. She was also a little bit of my leash to pull me back in. In all of that, my grandmother's home was the bedrock for all of my memories. It was the place that I found shelter. It was the place that I found safety. It was the place that I disliked a lot of times because some of the memories at my grandmother's house were times that I got yelled at or got reprimanded or got a whooping by my granddaddy. There were times that I didn't see eye to eye with family. And all of that, her home still was that place that I found solitude in some way. Over the course of these 5 years, in the course of grieving, in the course of doing my own work, is that I don't necessarily see her home the same way. I'm okay with the fact that her home is no longer my place of solitude or solace. It took me a long time to get there. Although she is gone, although I miss her beyond words, she still lives within. Sometimes I'll see her in a red cardinal. I will see 1111 and be reminded of who she was to me. I'll even sometimes like smell a fragrance and be like, girl, I see you. I know what you're trying to do. In her death, she gave me the permission to do what she wasn't able to necessarily do in her lifetime. She gave me the strength to keep at it. Sometimes I'll hear her and say, you got to walk on you, girl. She gave me the courage because she always believed in me. There was one thing my grandmother was going to do. She was going to believe in me. And if you are in the midst of grief and trying to navigate how you live life between grief and being grateful, one, go listen to my podcast because I had a podcast about this. Grief is love that has nowhere to go. If you are like me and you're missing someone that you love, and especially if you're missing your grandmother, honor them today. Find a way to honor them. Find a way to enjoy what they would have enjoyed when they were here. Find a way to continue to speak their name. Find a way to pick up where they left off. Find a way to get that courage to do the very thing that you're afraid to do, knowing that they are behind you, pushing you. Today, on the 5th anniversary of my grandma girl, Ruth Louise Miller, please know that you are not forgotten. You are so loved, and we talk about you all the time, girl. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your love. Thank you for holding our family together. And thank you for watching over us. Even though we may not always get it right, thank you. I love you. And I hope and I pray that as your favorite, that I am making you proud with the courage to show up, to do the things that I have in my heart to do. And it's been 5 years. And honestly, because it feels like you just left yesterday, I love you so much. I really, really do. And I hope that I'm making you proud. I love you, girl. Rest in heaven, Ruth Louise Miller. I'll never forget you. I'll always love you. Bye, girl.